I really resonate with all truths are true. It just depends on, where you're choosing to perceive it from. But are there such a thing as universal truths, regardless of your truths? For instance, like the law of one, we are all connected, regardless if you perceive the other person as separate of you or if you see them as part of you. And if there are such universal truths, to call them that, is there any of them that want to come through other than the law of one that you could share?
Yeah. So, from my vantage point in this now moment, that is correct, that there are infinite truths. And, as humans and through the system of duality, polarity, and separation, et cetera, the victimizer matrix that immediately engages pretty much most of our participation in life as me against you, you against me, us against them, until we awaken to greater levels of awareness of all the different layers of, you know, of, uh, of, we begin to recognize that this is in duality and polarity to the core essence and nature of who we are as eternal source beings, right? Of these higher frequencies of pure source creational energy. And so, yet every single being that comes in here has a unique blueprint, right? There's absolutely commonalities, and there are certain things that, are held within the collective body template that are commonly threaded through pretty much all, with very few exceptions, human incarnates here, and they're, certainly, and propagated through many of the societal systems, education, et cetera, et cetera. There are certain truths, or what has been, when a certain critical mass of humanity applies their sort of belief system and agreements to these different principles, if you will, they become sort of a collective body, truth, if you will, right? They hold a greater bandwidth of what is even termed truth within a system that is very illusionary, right? So there's so many degrees of what truth even is. But then when I hear you saying is, beyond all the different levels and layers of, and the infinite timelines that are here and the infinite truths, because who am I to tell you that something's true or not? We each hold a unique bandwidth at any given point in our soul's evolution, in our experience here. We all have our own collective radio station, if you will, right? Our own collective bandwidth of consciousness, participating with all different imprints and programs and so forth. And all of those imprints and programs that, coordinates within our hologram create the totality of our bandwidth of consciousness at any given time, and uniquely so. And so what resonates as truth for me is pinging off of every single coordinate and every single program, ancestral, collective, soul program, that's participating consciously and unconsciously within my hologram. And that's the totality of that is what brings me to perhaps landing on something, feeling true in a given moment, and something that does not feel true, right? And each of us have infinite, expressions of truth and non-truth. And again, then there are these collective, so there's truths upon truths upon truths, and we often, from the very beginning, if someone's truths don't fit into the collective bandwidths of truth, right, then they begin to, in varying degrees, shapes, and sizes become invalidated or outcasted in certain ways, and so forth, right? It's a conspiracy or whatever, right? So we've created this whole system here. We, as the collective of humanity, guided, if you will, to a large degree, blindly through the veils of illusion and through the matrices of separation, to really deeming certain things as, as true and not true, right? As very dualistic, and very limited. And then we take certain constructs of science and mathematical equations and so forth, and that were also built with largely within the scope and the intention of illusion and separation. And then, we further, sort of propagate humanity to fall under these constructs to further engage what is true and what is not true, right? But there are infinite truths, and we are infinite creator beings, and we are always meant by our divine design to be creating anew in each and every moment. And, creating systems of thought and beliefs and words and participation, and exploring them and unfolding them, and celebrating them, and then creating, and not becoming identified or permanently identified or attached to any of it, right? Having the experience, seeing what it feels like, smells like, tastes like, feels like, hears, sounds like, da 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 da, and integrating the wisdom and releasing, the entanglements of sort of the lower vibrational energies and so forth of this dualistic system. Okay, so we're getting, starting to sort of get the overall picture that there are infinite truths, and far be it for me as a unique individuation of source, judge or tell you what is true and what is not true. I simply could never make that determination if I were following the higher design of law of one, divine law and order, right? Which is to honor each being in a flow of unity, as I am source, you are source, we are uniquely expressing as source. And all layers and levels of our creational codex here are equally validated and profound and so forth. So we could go on and on and on and on, as there are infinite systems of creation, infinite. So there's infinite systems of creation within the very in the totality of all creation. We can think of this earth experience and our human experience as like a fractal of a pinhead, right? It's like and so then, and yet in that fractal of a pinhead is our infinite systems of creation that are infinitely creating anew and creating more and creating more and creating more. Well, then beyond this experience, right, there are infinite systems of creation doing the same exact thing. So there are infinite truths, and and what is felt like truth, and there are infinite systems of participation, and there are systems of creation that perhaps are void of the experience of what the concept of truth even is or feels like, or the intention of navigating or experiencing it. But from my vantage point, when the prime source creator of all creation desired to begin to individuate itself infinitely into infinite systems of creation so that it could hold itself in a place of the witnessing presence of infinite fractals of itself, creating anew infinitely, there was a particular set of creational codex, divine law and order, if you will, that was put in place so as to keep the flow of order, to be able to come back to a place of witnessing and exploration and recognition of every fractal of creation to ever have been created, and uniquely so. And so really, there's no real way from my perception in this now moment to even bring forth an answer to the question, because what is truth? What is truth? Is truth the most pristine record of creation any given system of creation and the validation of that pristine record, we know the question that's being asked, and yet it's still being asked through the construct of a more linear construct, if you will, of exploration, right? But there are systems of divine law and order, of divine creational codex that were put in place to assist in holding, sort of, to put it into words, a pristine record of every system of creation to have ever been created.
Thank you so much. I will write down everything that's coming in, and then next time we'll expand on it. So that was a beautiful
Thank
response.
you for the question. That opened up a whole new, I was like, oh, well, that leads me into a whole new system of curiosity and exploration as one of the archetypes is presenting itself as truth. So I think we are all in for an opening to an expansion, beyond our linear comprehension in this now moment. All right. Love you all. Thank you for the co-creation, and see you soon.